Absolutely. Now, Bridget, I want to jump back to Senate estimates and this revelation that this 62 to 70% target of Chris Bowen's, it will apply to agriculture and farming. Are your constituents aware that they've somehow got to reduce their businesses, their farms, their homes, their families, their livestock, etc., carbon emissions by 62 to 70% within a few years?
No, they're not aware, in short, Rowan, and that's why this revelation was so compelling and egregious. We had the National Farmers Federation with this the week of this announcement saying, you know, it's great that agriculture's got a carve-out. Well, turns out, Farmers Federation, you don't have a carve-out, and it is once again the communities in rural and regional Australia, the intergenerational assets and our primary producers that are going to be paying for this farcical policy. I've always said net zero won't be net zero cost. Someone's always going to have to pay, and typically it's the poor and those of us out in the region, and it turns out that's exactly what's happening. So we're going to delve much more deeply into this. The other piece of evidence we found out in the agriculture estimates about this issue, Rowan, was that in all the modelling, they couldn't tell us how much prime agricultural land was going to be required to host all the renewable projects, the transmission lines, the wind farms, the batteries, etc., to actually make the 2035 and 2030 targets happen. So that is a grave concern that the Federal Treasury hasn't even modelled what impact the rollout of this target is going to have on food production in an industry where we export 80% of it. It's a huge economic driver, and they haven't even done those basic numbers so that we can understand the impact and therefore fight it. So a lot of hairs on it, as you know.
Well, I just thought the coalition senators, thank goodness for the coalition senators, that's the opposition as far as I'm concerned. Michael Danby, I just want to, speaking of the Senate, this disgraceful comment from Larissa Waters, the head of the Greens last week. Have a quick listen.
My heart goes out to the families of those people. No violence anywhere is acceptable, and this is exactly why we need a resolution that is based on self-determination, and why Australia should have, 2 years ago, imposed serious sanctions on the Israeli government.
So, Michael, Larissa Waters tried to blame Israel. Explain it to me.
The Greens are both unethical and dumb. Israel's just about to sign a peace treaty, Larissa Waters. Have you heard of President Trump? The Greens live in a completely their own silo, and they're dumb, Rowan, because Brandt lost his seat because people even in the inner southeast of Melbourne, associated the Green political party with Gaza extremism. They were sick to death of these weekly demonstrations that paralysed our city, and the Greens paid the price for it. So let's hope that at the next federal election, the Greens will pay a further price for this dumb and unethical politics of Larissa Waters.
And just very quickly, Bridget, 20 seconds, your comments on that?
Oh, well, I couldn't agree with Michael more. The clear expectation by the US has led to a great peace deal, but the Greens showing themselves to be the extremists that they are. You couldn't get a more pro-Palestinian Australian government than under Elbow, but she still chose to stick the boot in over the weekend for her own political purposes and further marginalising, I think, their base.
Thank you so much, Bridget McKenzie and Michael Danby. Great to chat to you both.